Good morning. On behalf of the co-developers, Woder Cooper Companies and Housing Service Alliance, we would like to welcome everyone here today to this beautiful property. We've got a great date. I have a grand opening. I kept watching the weather because you know in Kentucky it can change on a dime. And I just want to make an announcement that Kentucky Housing Corporation is live streaming this, so everything is being recorded, so watch what you say. Before we get started, I would like to introduce Pastor Michael Stoops, who will lead us into Invocation. Thank you.
Oh, well, thank you so much. I'm recorded and live streamed every single week, so hopefully I won't say anything that gets me in trouble. Would you please pray with me? Heavenly Father, in giving us dominion over the things on earth, you made us co-workers in your creation. You have given the opportunity and responsibility to create, to fashion, to build, and to develop what you have given us. We thank you for the wisdom and skill you gave architects and construction workers to build this structure. We thank you for the various partnerships that made this project possible. We thank you for those who have worked and will work to foster a vibrant community here. And we thank you for those who will make these Sparrow Ridge apartments their home. May each new resident find a welcoming city, positive new relationships, and purpose for this new season in their lives. We lift up these apartments in this whole area to you, God, our Creator. By your holy prophet Jeremiah, you taught your ancient people to seek the welfare of the cities in which they lived. We commend our neighborhood to your care, that it might be a place for all to flourish. Give us strength, peace, and concern for others, that we might use our own talents and gifts and abilities to bless one another as you have blessed us. May your abundant blessings continue to pour over us and through us. And it's for your beautiful name we pray. Amen.
Okay, just want to give you a little bit of background. First, my name is Tammy Stanley, and I work with Woder Cooper Companies. I am Vice President of Development, and I run the Kentucky office. We co-developed this with our nonprofit partner, which is Housing Service Alliances, to help address the affordable housing need here in Northern Kentucky. I met with County Judge Executive Moore, I guess it's about 4 or 5 years ago. I don't know, the pandemic's kind of got me off on years. And sat down in his office to talk about the needs that he has in this county. And it was quite refreshing to see that a county judge executive was very familiar with affordable housing and what the needs were. At that point, we did a development in Walton. This is our second development here, and we've got another development under construction in Walton as well. So we hope to have many, many more developments here in Boone County because we really enjoy working with his staff. So as you know, this is 96 units. We have 36 one-bedroom and 62 bedroom units. The age starts at 55 and older, and the income range is 30% to 80% AMI. This is an $18.9 million investment in Hebron. This is a 4-story brick elevator development. When we sat down to see how many units were needed here, we worked closely with our architects and our civil engineers to create what you see here now. But we have open concept living, and we will be having tours on a 1-bedroom and a 2-bedroom later, and I'll let y'all know what those units are when we get to that point. But we invite everybody to come and look at our beautiful open concept living. We do have attractive finishes, including luxury vinyl tile flooring, cabinetry, and trim, and large energy efficient windows. So every development we do, we make sure that we incorporate energy efficient design. That is also a requirement from Kentucky Housing Corporation. So all of our appliances are energy efficient as well. In our units we offer refrigerator, stove, microwave, dishwasher, and washer and dryer hookups for every tenant. In addition, we also have an on-site laundry facility in case those residents don't have their own washer and dryer. Right now we are 40% leased. We do have, I think, 30% that is already taken, so we have 36 units left available. So if you know anybody looking for a house, an apartment, send them our way. So that's really good since we just started leasing, I think about a month ago, Michelle? All right. So now I want to introduce one of our speakers. As I was talking about earlier, I met with Judge Moore several years ago, and his staff and his team has been awesome to work with. I couldn't ask for a better planning and zoning crew to work with. Todd Morgan and Michael Swartz and Mark Martin have been wonderful. So at this time, I would like to introduce Judge Gary Moore, Boone County Judge Executive.
So grab your picture for you.
Oh, I'm sorry.
I've seen that happen before where the next speaker comes back and it's like, where are we? I've been known to also carry these back with me after I speak, and then they're lost as well. I won't do that today. It's an honor to be here with you today. I've been looking so forward to coming and touring. I drive by from time to time during the construction, and it was just amazing to see this come up out of the ground and to see the beautiful product that has been finished, and happy to hear the numbers as far as occupancy and rentals, and the fact that you only have, was it 36 left? 36 left tells you that there's a need here, and that this type of partnership and collaboration is needed to continue to do this. This week alone, I guess this is my third ribbon cutting or event. I see several of you regularly about every day that make the circuit. Just 2 days ago, we cut a ribbon on a brand new facility that is marketing, packaging type minority-owned company that's just south of 275. And they're going to be employing a little bit over 200 people. They're looking for employees. But we immediately shifted to the discussion about affordable housing. They're good paying jobs. They start off about $18 to $20 an hour, which may, not doing the math, I'm not sure if that would qualify here, maybe not. But the idea that we need these kind of partnerships for entry-level workers, and we're finding more and more that our elderly citizens sometimes continue to fulfill part-time jobs and other things. So having these partnerships for people to live affordable, but also continue to work in some cases, or maybe not, is things that our community is looking for. We need workers at every level. And our companies really like to employ senior citizens because of the dependability and the work ethic and all of the other things that come along with that. But whether this is a retirement plan for our citizens, or whether it's a live-work plan, whatever the case might be, we know that this need is continuing to happen here. I also was with Senator McConnell yesterday, Leader McConnell, and we were meeting with some of the airport companies. And once again, everybody's being creative in the way that they're trying to meet the workforce needs. And even part-time employees receiving nice benefits. So Boone County is the place to be. I love hearing that our departments work well together. We, a few years ago, placed building inspection, planning and zoning, all of these different departments of the county, and these are countywide departments, to where the customer will have a more seamless experience. So things like getting your zoning permit and zoning inspections, but also with the building inspector being here. And our building inspectors, we actually have more level 3 building inspectors than any county in Kentucky except Jefferson, more than Fayette, more than Lexington, because we inspect. When we're inspecting, we're inspecting at the city, county, state, and federal level. Level 3s qualify. So you're not dealing with multiple inspectors and those types of sometimes challenges that you might face in other parts of the nation. So I'm here today to see and celebrate with you. It's awesome to see this partnership and see this amazing product come together. But in the end, we all do this for the good of our residents and our citizens, and we want to continue to partner with you. To Pastor, your prayer just was so appropriate this morning, thinking about what we're building here and what we're doing here and how that works with the mission that we have as a community. Now, Hebron is not an incorporated city, So we often have these discussions in places like Burlington and Hebron and Bellevue, Verona, wherever it might be. If you need the mayor, there isn't one. I'm the closest thing you get to that. So as county executive, usually those questions come to us. So if any of your residents are looking for parks and services and other amenities, always feel free to connect them with us, and we will do our best. We do have an ongoing mission to improve walkability here in this community. Currently, if you go toward down 237 to the 18 end, you'll see multi-use paths being built. That section was just paved in the last couple days. They're 10-foot wide multi-use paths for walking, biking, wheelchairs, and those will be continuing all the way to 275. You already have those amenities north of the interstate. So if you have residents that want to get down to Hebron Lutheran Church for a service, we're in the process of making those connections and improving the walkability and the healthy nature of our community. A couple of years ago, we finished the new library just across the street, an amazing library for your residents to utilize. And there's a lot of discussion about other county services coming soon. So once again, thank you, congratulations. It's an honor to be with you, and let's keep working together.
Judge Moore, you can count on it. Okay, let's see. Yep, kind of got a little. Okay, so right now I'd like to recognize that State Senator John Schinkel and State Representative Ed Massey will not be here, but we still want to recognize them and the need for affordable housing. Also would like to introduce Megan Bankkemper. She is with the office with Senator Mitch McConnell, but she said she did not want to speak, but we're glad to have a representative here from Mitch McConnell's office. We also have a representative, Billy Matthews, with U.S. Senator Rand Paul. And he doesn't want to speak either, but we are happy to have a representative here. We always like having, everybody here.
Glad to be here.
And then we also have with us Bob Porter. He is with the office of U.S. Congressman Thomas Massey. And again, he doesn't want to speak.
My boss told me that I'm the eyes and ears, not the voice.
Not the voice. Okay, gotcha. Well, we are very happy that all you all could be here to represent each one of these individuals. And, our philosophy is go back, tell them the need for more affordable housing. So we wouldn't be here today without this one particular group. When we come to put these deals together, it's a process. It's not an easy process, but it's a process. And the first thing we have to do is apply for housing credits. And we have to submit an application and go through all the logistics of that. And then after we go through the application process, it's a very competitive process. And then we'll find out probably about 4 or 5 months after we submit our application if we get an award. So, with there being a limited amount of federal low-income housing tax credits here in the state of Kentucky, it's becoming more and more competitive every time. So without this agency, we wouldn't be here today. So at this time, I would like to introduce Ms. Trina Shiels. She's the multifamily housing specialist at Kentucky Housing Corporation.
Hi, I'm Trina Shiels, and I am a specialist at Kentucky Housing Corporation, and I'm very glad to be here today. I worked with Tammy on the project, which was submitted back in 2019, was funded in 2020. It consisted of $1,497,600 in annual tax credits. And it was funded from the Urban New Supply Pool. The development is constructed, as she said, a high level of energy efficiency and green construction techniques. The building design is intended to create an environment in which the tenants have a sense of ownership and security. Out of the 96 units, 10% of the units are targeted for the physically disabled tenants and are fully accessible. And Sparrow Ridge has numerous amenities that in turn support their tenants. As a rep for Kentucky Housing Corporation, I began working, like I said, with Tammy. And actually, I'm going to be retiring soon, and I'm going to miss her. We're working with her on the projects. The reps with our projects, we very seldom are able to come out and see what we've worked on for a couple of years. And I really appreciate having the opportunity to be here and see the project that I worked on. And I am very happy to be invited. Thank you very much.
So yeah, I'm going to miss working with Trina, but Trina failed to mention that we've actually go way back. A previous life, I actually worked at Kentucky Housing Corporation, and I worked alongside with Trina for many years. So I'm going to hate to see her go. So then after we get our housing credits, then the fun really begins, because then we got to start looking for our investor, our equity providers, our mortgage lender, our construction lender. So now, at this time, I would like to introduce Mr. Mike Boyle. He is with CREA. He is the Senior Vice President of Acquisitions, and he is the investor that produced the equity financing.
Oh, I'm gonna lose these. Well, thank you. As mentioned, my name is Mike Boyle. I work with CREA, and we are the tax credit syndicator. So we're purchasing the credits in exchange for an equity infusion into the deal. We're based out of Indianapolis, Indiana, although I'm in Florida, where I had covered the Southeast and the Southeast office, but relationships expand nationally. It certainly has with the Woder Cooper team, and we invest nationally. And while the goal is never to hit an investment dollar amount annually, we look for the right deals with the right people in the right markets. But that shakes out to roughly a little over $1 billion a year in equity. So, this is being live streamed and recorded, so I will caveat by saying we're fortunate to work with many great development partners all around the country. But certainly this team is in the absolute upper echelon of the folks that we work with. And, we're of the 100 to 120 properties that we invest in a year, we're striving to do as many as we can with you, David, and Jeff, and just happy to call you partner and to work with you when we can. This we've seen firsthand the impact that you've made on, I was looking it up this morning, 47 deals that we've done with you, countless others that you've worked with other people, and we've seen firsthand that impact to the communities, and really expect nothing less of this one. And let's do more. I see room for phase 2 out there, so hopefully that's in the works. But again, thank you. Appreciate being here and being a small part of the success of this property. Thank you.
Thank you, Mike. Then after we get our investor on board, then we have to look for someone who's going to handle our construction loan. So at this time, I'd like to invite Justin Marshall. He's with Fifth Third Bank. He's a senior VP in Community Development Lending Group, and he was the one that his group handled our construction loan.
Thanks. Well, thanks. It's great to be here on this beautiful morning. Like mentioned, Fifth Third was the lender and the investor in this project, and you talked a little bit earlier about how fast this is rented up so far in a month. I think you've rented 60 of them. I mean, it's critical that we build more affordable housing in this country. I think I read a stat recently that said that there are 7 million low-income residents. That's the gap in the entire nation, right? And so building 96 units is awesome, but we need so much more to reach that 7 million number or even beyond. And kind of to that tune, Fifth Third recently launched something called our Empowering Black Futures Neighborhood Initiative. And what we're doing there is we've chosen 9 specific neighborhoods across our 11-state footprint where we're going to invest $20 million lending, investment, and philanthropy dollars, $20 million in each one of these 9 neighborhoods. So for a total of, $180 million. And now we know this isn't gonna, it's gonna scratch the surface, but what it's gonna do is really positively transform each one of these communities that we work and serve in. Now, there's not one here in Kentucky. We've got one in Avondale in the downtown Cincinnati area. But we kind of see this as the tip of the iceberg on how we can try to transform these different properties. Like I mentioned before, Fifth Third's role was the construction lender, $15.5 million construction loan. We were also the equity investor, so $14 million of equity went into this project as well. And it's been a great partnership with Korea and Woda Cooper companies over the years. We've done a lot of business with both of them and look to continue to do a lot more in the future. So happy to be here on this beautiful day. And I guess my last speaker. I'm the last one to talk. No, David's up maybe? All right. Thank you.
Okay. So, sorry, I thought you was just a construction lender,
Oh, that's
but
all
yeah,
right.
see, now you're both, my bad. I'm usually off the cuff, but they have me read these notes and, and it trips me up sometimes. So in addition to our investors and our mortgage, and our mortgage lender and the state housing agency, there are other individuals that we work very closely with. This is not an easy process. And that is, one is our architect, Dane Grimm with Grimm Architects. We've worked with Dane Grimm for 10 years now here in Kentucky, and as you can see, his designs are absolutely beautiful. Then we have our civil engineering staff, Will Hagan and Lane Hartman with Hagan Engineering. And our surveyor, which is a local surveyor, Tim Ryan, so he did the survey on the property. So as you can see, it takes a lot of people. At this time, it is my pleasure to introduce Mr. David Cooper, who is one of the owners of Woda Cooper. Who's one of the owners of Woda Cooper Companies. I'm sorry.
Thanks, Tammy. I'll be brief because I want to show off the building here before too long. But I just want to say, first of all, thank you all for being here this morning. I want to give a little history about our company. So we're in our 32nd year of business. We've completed somewhere in excess of 350 or so of these properties. They're all remain affordable. They're all still in good condition. We take great pride in what we do. Some people look at a grand opening as the end of a story. To us, it's the beginning of a story. It's the beginning of the life of this building, and it's participation in the community, and that's really important to us. I really appreciated the comments of the county executive this morning. It is critical to create more affordable housing, and it really does take a whole team of people. It takes the federal government allowing us the credit and supporting the affordable housing initiatives at that level. It takes the state by having a good selection plan under their QAP and efficiently allocating those credits. And then most importantly, it takes a local community that understands the need to provide housing to its residents. We need our financial partners, Korea, Fifth Third, Cedar Rapids Bank and Trust, who is our permanent lender here, are all critical to us. But I want to also say our company is comprised of 720 or so employees. We take what we do very, very seriously. I know there were people here last night, working to make sure this event was ready today. We had a grinder pump for a sewage system go out in Pennsylvania late yesterday afternoon. We were on the phone with our dedicated maintenance staff last night till probably 8, 9 o'clock at night, coming up with a plan for today. Back on the phone this morning at about 7 o'clock, making sure we're executing that plan. So there's so much that goes on behind the scenes, and Jeff, Woda, and myself, we really appreciate the commitment of all of our colleagues at our company who get up every day thinking about affordable housing. How do we create it? How do we do better? How do we make sure that our residents have a good experience? Because we understand at the end of the day, what we do is for the residents and for the community, and it's important to us to fulfill the trust that's been given to us through all the resources made available to us. So again, I really appreciate all of you being here today. Thank you, and please stay around for a tour of the building. We like to show off what we do, and I always say judge us in 10 years. So County Executive, please come back in 10 years, and if this property doesn't look really good to you, give me a call, but I promise you it'll look good. We'll we make that commitment, and that's always our first and foremost priority. I do want to thank the pastor. I did appreciate the prayer today. I've been to a lot of these. As a lifelong Lutheran, I can tell you, I definitely appreciated your comments this morning, so thank you. Thank you all for being here.
As David mentioned, we're a pretty large company, and it takes a village to pull one of these off. At this time, I would like to introduce some of the Woda Cooper Company's team members that are here. We have Jen Rickey. She handles our loan closings and is very significant in getting these so that we can start construction. Ann Little, she handled the pre-construction documentation. So for those of you who don't know, it's a process to go through before we can even start construction. Garrett LaDon, he is our figures guy. Without Garrett, none of this would really happen. Then we have our construction team. We have Lance Pollock, who is our senior VP. Dylan Taylor, who was here for many, many weeks trying to get all this done. Josh Ellery, he and Allie Olmsons are here. They was actually still working up until probably about 10:15 today on taking care of things, and John Baer. In addition to our designer, Olivia Brock, she's the one that handles the furniture and coming in and setting everything up so it looks beautiful once our residents walk in. And then our management staff, who now that we're done with construction, they're going to take it from here and ensure that the property is maintained and the residents are happy. So we have RVP Michelle Prohl, Mindy DeBourne, who's the regional manager, Jordan Ward, who right now is acting as the occupancy occupancy specialist. Jason Fry, who I don't know what we'd do without Jason. He is everywhere when we need him. And then Jacqueline Lay. And then also we have Karen Bernick, who handles all of our groundbreakings and marketing. And then we have Mike Collins here today, who I think is going to be taking over some of that for her. So before we get to the fun part, we are pleased to say that we do have a resident that has said they would come up and speak today. I think she was one of the first residents that actually moved into the property. So at this time, if Linda Alexander, if you can come up and make a few comments.
Okay, good afternoon. My name is Linda Alexander, and I have a friend who's also one of my neighbors back there to give me a sign when I'm up to 1 minute and 30 seconds. I am a talker, so I had to do these little notes, and I'll try to follow them. And when she gives me that hand signal, I'll know it's time to wrap it up. So I want to start with, just real briefly, I am from Indianapolis, Indiana. Originally, I grew up in foster care. I had several foster homes. I did not have the best growing up, but I didn't have the worst. There's been people who've had others. So I grew up in 8 different homes. I did know my biological mother, never met my dad. As time went on, I was able to naturally graduate from high school. And went to work, and I found out at the age of 10 that I had epilepsy. I had gotten hit really bad in one of my foster homes, which caused a brain injury, which is controlled by medication now. So I'm just saying that to say that, to look at me you would not know I have these ailments. I have rheumatoid arthritis, and that's why Karen helped me get up here. And mornings are not the best for me. Also, I have diabetes. So there's some ailments that go on internally, but I don't let that hold me back from where I'm at now. I was telling her when we were talking about me talking that, you know, I've had some really good jobs. I've been a substitute teacher for years, which I've had to delay now. I've worked with Delta Airlines and Special Member Services. Just different jobs that are very important to me. And I did not let my capabilities and non-capabilities define who I was as a person. So when she asked me about why I moved here to Kentucky, being from Indianapolis, Indiana, even though I worked in Los Angeles and been in different places, I could only tell her about my grandchildren. I have 3 beautiful grandsons that I love dearly, and I called around, looked around for affordable housing in this area, and there was none. The prices were like outrageous, and you know, I was on disability for a while, and then when I retired, I'm 67 years old now, so when I retired, that switched over into retirement, but the pay didn't change. So since I didn't retire from one particular place, I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So when this came up on apartment.com or apartmentguide.com, I jumped on it. And I remember talking to Jordan. She was my first contact person. And she was so nice and so understanding. And that's my cue back there, so I need to hurry up. But she walked me through the process, and she treated me like a person, you know? Because when you're younger, like you are now, you think about retirement, but then you don't think about retirement until you're there. And I've already cashed in my 401k when I had my house and got divorced and all that. So I'm just saying, she was very, very kind. And I put that remark on apartmentguide.com because a lot of times when people hear affordable housing, they put you in a category. You talk about stigmatization, that you are there. It's like, oh, you're poor or you're in poverty. And that's not the case. None of us know what life is going to deal us. We have no idea. And here with this, when you go through the building, if you haven't already been, if I had the money to plan for retirement, this is where I would be. Okay, my apartment is absolutely fabulous. It's 2 bedrooms. My grandsons love it. They said, oh, this is a hospital, Grandmommy? I said, no, this is my apartment. My friends, when I send them the videos back home, they can't believe that I'm in something this modern. Even I had to go through into the office to find out how to do the dishwasher. It's that modern. And the stove had these different things on it and everything. But I'm saying all that to say affordable housing is needed. Not just for seniors. I'm so thankful that God is here for us, but also for single families, period. It's just not enough out there. And if I ever win the lottery, I don't use money a lot for that, maybe $5 a year. But if I was to ever get to a point where I could do any fundraising or anything for it, I would let it be known that the stigma for affordable housing needs to change. People need to understand that there are people out there that work their butts off to try to afford their children with a nice place to stay, even seniors. So I'm going to say this and then I'm going to let it go. I pulled up this thing about communities because someone mentioned that earlier, and I had already decided that this is what I was going to say, and then I'm going to sit down for real. So when you talk about communities, this one here I pulled up about localities. So for many of us, where we live is foundational to our sense of community. Locality meaning the numerous spaces in which an individual resides, orients identity through the cultural, political, and economic events and activities that occur within them. Localities can be as small as neighborhood blocks or as large as entire towns, cities, and regions. We here at Sparrow Ridge, on my floor, we're already a community. We are. We're on the 3rd floor. and we already have bonded, and we already get together, and we already talk to each other and encourage each other and say what we want to do. I'm a quilter, so I'm going to be doing quilting classes. I like computers. I used to volunteer and teach computer classes for Volunteers of America, so I have all this knowledge. Someone said, I don't know which one of you it was because I'm not from originally here, about, and I think it might have been you, sir, about how we have all this expertise as seniors, and it just kind of goes out to pasture somewhere. We're not done. We're actually just getting started. So look forward to hearing from Sparrow Ridge more. That's all I have to say. Thank you.
First off, Miss Alexander, you do not look 67. Secondly, there was a reporter here from Channel 9, and he asked, why do we do what we do? That right there is why we do what we do. I could go on and on about senior development, so now we want to get to the fun part. That's the part that David likes to get to. We will have a ribbon cutting, so if all of our speakers will join us in front of the building for a ribbon cutting. After the ribbon cutting, we do have a tour set up. I will be the first person taking all these speakers here on the first tour, and then Mindy DeBorn will have the second group to take on a tour. We have 2 units we'll be looking at. We will also be looking at all the different amenities we offer. As you can see, we have raised garden plots here for our residents to raise their own vegetables. We have a bocce court for them to enjoy. We have our own grills and patio area here in case they want to have cookouts. You came through our community room for gatherings. We have a lot of residents that get together for bunco, bingo, whatever. And then as we go through the building, you will see we have a crafts room. We have a computer lab. We have a grandkids playroom. We also have a fitness facility. And then on the first floor, we have another gathering space in case they just want to get together and gather. So the units we will be touring today are units 214 and 107. So at this time, oh, and also we have a box lunch for everybody. So if you will make sure you grab your box lunch. You know, with COVID, we do things a little different these days, so it's not like what we used to. Lastly, I'd like to thank everybody for helping us celebrate the grand opening of Sparrow Ridge. It's been a long time coming. As Judge Moore said, you know, when we first spoke many years ago, it's a team effort, and without our team, we couldn't do what we do, and I, for one, am very proud to be a part of Walter Cooper Companies. And so for those of you, if you will join me out front, we'll cut the ribbon and we'll be official. Thank you.